When I first started editing, I treated every photo the same way. Global exposure, contrast, highlights, and done. But the real magic happens when you start shaping light, not everywhere, but exactly where it matters. And that's what masks are for. They let you guide intention, just like you would with a flashlight in the dark. Today I want to walk you through everything about masks in Lightroom, why they exist, how to use them, and how to build a final image step by step. I will show you every masking tool Lightroom offers, and then we'll edit 2 photos together, one portrait and one landscape. So let's get into it. So what exactly is a mask? A mask is simply a selection. It isolates part of your image so your adjustments only affect that area. The idea actually comes from the darkroom. Photographers used to dodge and burn prints by hand. They'd block light with tools to make parts of a photo lighter. That's dodging. Or they'd let extra light hit the paper to make it darker. That's burning. So if you hear dodge and burn in digital editing, it's basically the same concept. Shaping light by hand. Masks are just the modern way to do that. Before we dive into each type, there are a few basics that apply for each mask. You can turn the overlay on and off to see where your mask is. Feather and flow control how soft your edges are. You can add or subtract from any mask to refine it, and it's always a good idea to rename your masks. And one small but important thing, use opacity to control the intensity. You don't need to undo something when it's too strong. Just lower the opacity a tiny bit. Alright, now let's go through each mask. Let's start with a subject mask. Lightroom uses AI to detect the main subject in your image, usually a person or an object. Once selected, I might raise the exposure slightly, open the shadows, or even reduce the texture a bit for smooth skin. Next, the people mask. This one recognizes individuals in your image and even separates features like skin, hair, eyes, or clothing. It's perfect for portrait or group shots. I usually brighten the face slightly, often the skin just a touch, and keep the eyes sharp with a bit of clarity. The trick here is subtlety, just enough to make the person stand out naturally. Then we have a sky mask. This automatically detects the sky, which is a lifesaver in landscapes. I'll often lower the highlights to bring back detail and add a little dehaze for contrast, or shift the temperature slightly to match the mood, warmer for sunsets or cooler for a moody feel. If the sky includes both sun and clouds, I might refine it with the Luminance mask to balance the bright and dark areas. The background mask works in the opposite direction. It selects what Lightroom identifies as a background. It's a great way to make your subject pop by darkening or desaturating the surroundings. I like to reduce the exposure slightly or add a hint of dehaze to push the background further away. Just keep it natural. A subtle drop is always enough. The landscape mask is designed to detect natural elements in your image like water, land, or foliage. It's ideal when you want to give your landscape more texture or color separation, or make some highlights and let the eye lead to something in particular. I might boost vibrance or greens or increase clarity on rocks and ground for detail. It's especially nice when combined with a color mask, so you can target specific tones within the scene. Next up, we have the object mask. This one lets you select any object manually, in this case the church. You just paint over it, Lightroom recognizes it, and you can then adjust exposure, texture, or color independently. It's great for cleaning up small distractions or emphasizing a single element in the frame. The brush mask is where you get full control. You paint exactly where you want the effect. I use this for precision, small dodging on the eyes, subtle burning around the edges, or fixing light inconsistencies. Use of low flow and build up gradually, that's how you get smooth or natural transitions. Linear gradient is perfect for horizons or directional light. You drag from one side to the other and the effect fades gradually. I often use it to darken skies or lift the foreground in the landscapes. It's also great for creating soft light direction, like having a virtual reflector in your frame. Then there's the radial gradient. Think of it as a soft spotlight or vignette. You can draw a circle or oval, invert it if you need it, and use it to highlight your subject. I usually make a warm radial mask around faces or sun patches to make it a bit of glow. Stacking a few subtle radial masks can mimic realistic light fallout beautifully. A color range mask targets specific colors in your image. You use the eyedropper to select a hue, for example the violet in those flowers, and then adjust it independently. It's super helpful for fine-tuning tones that global sliders can't isolate. If the effect spills over, combine it with a luminance mask to limit it to certain brightness levels. And then finally, the luminance mask. This one selects part of a photo based on brightness. You can work only on highlights or shadows, which makes it perfect for controlling contrast. It's incredibly precise once you know how to use it. And before we jump into the editing examples, there's one more thing that builds up on everything we just discussed. And that's adaptive presets. These are basically presets that already include masks. Lightroom uses AI to detect things like the sky, background, or subject, and then automatically applies targeted adjustments. For example, a preset might brighten faces while keeping the background untouched, or enhance the sky without affecting the rest of the scene. They're really a great way to speed up your workflow, especially if you want to achieve a consistent look across a series of images, but still want that selective control. You can even create your own adaptive presets from the mask you build, so Lightroom will recognize the same elements in the future photos and apply your exact adjustments automatically. Before we continue, I want to say a quick thank you to Artlist for sponsoring the video. Since sound plays such a big role in my videos, I've been using Artlist for all of my sound and music design. They've recently added some really cool new features, like an AI-powered search that helps you find the perfect song faster, and new sound effect collections that make it so much easier to build an atmosphere for your films. And let's not forget about AI-powered voiceovers and AI-generated videos. So if you're working on your own videos and want to bring your storytelling to the next level, you should really check out the link in my description. And if you decide to get an annual plan, you get 2 extra months for free. Now let's put all of this into practical workflow. I'll start with a portrait and then move on to a landscape photo. I already made a few adjustments and gave it an overall look with a tone, curve and color grading. Next I use the subject mask. I brighten the subject slightly to make it stand out against the background, since the subject is quite dark in the image. To bring back the detail in my face, I use a brush tool and create a mask on the darker parts of my face to create the dodge and burn effect and give my face a shape again, rather than just making everything brighter. And we can do the same with the bright parts of my face and highlight these by using the brush mask again. To make myself stand out even more, I select the background mask and make the whole image darker, which adds separation. Then I create another mask, this time a linear gradient, to brighten the part the sunlight come through and make it a bit warmer. To finish this up, I would add a radial gradient and put it onto the subject, brighten it a bit to make it tie in better with the whole image again. Those are really tiny tweaks, but together they guide the viewer's eye straight onto the face. And now for the landscape, the easiest way to achieve the best result is to select the landscape masking tool. There it automatically selects the sky, the mountains and the water, so you can make your adjustments for each of these. I would make the sky a bit darker to bring back the moody vibe this image deserves. And for the water, it's always nice to make it a bit brighter and even add a tiny bit of blue. This way it leads the eye to the center of the image and to the main focus, being the mountains in the back. It's always good to look for leading lines and enhance them by using masks. Then I'd go even further by adding some dodge and burn effect onto the landscape itself. You can do this by using the luminance range and select either the dark or the bright parts of the image, or you could do it manually by using the brush masking tool. When you look at all these masks together, it's like layers of intention. Each one is subtle in its own, but combined they create depth and storytelling. And that's the power of masks. They let you paint with light even if a moment already has passed. So that's my full masking workflow, from understanding the tools to using them in real edits. If you found this helpful, give it a like and let me know in the comments which masks you used more often. And if you're interested in other Lightroom tutorials, check out my channel. I already covered a lot of basics, from the histogram panel to white balance to the color grading panel. And if you missed anything and would like to know about it, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.